Hello and Merry Christmas from the Allergy and Free From chat. It's me, your host, Ben Corbett. Today we've put together an amazing array of people from the Allergy and Free From world to bring you their festive tips and recipes. So many, in fact, I've had to write them all down. So coming up today, we have Rosie Brandreth Pointer, Georgia Austin Greenall, Courtney Kwong Hing, Morgan Mackenzie Moore, Sarah Pincus, Talina Houghton, Ruth Holroyd, and Nicole Chupa. So stay tuned. We've got some amazing things coming up. Let's get right on with it.
Hello everyone, I'm Sarah, aka Copper Confetti. Today I'm going to be taking you through my recipe for orange and cherry chocolate shortbread. So it's a fairly straightforward one. It's gluten-free, it's dairy-free, and it's vegan. And being Scottish, it's one thing that can't really be missing at Christmas. So I'm going to take you through it. It's really, really straightforward. There's only a few ingredients and it's pretty quick to make, so no excuses. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 140 grams of dairy-free butter. Of course, you can use regular butter or margarine if you're not dairy-free, or you can find like a vegan butter. I'm using dairy-free spread, and then we'll add that to our mixing machine, and then to that we want to add about 70 grams of sugar. I don't put too much sugar in mine because I like them to be not too sweet. And then with the little bits of chocolate, I don't feel like you need any more. There we go. And we'll pop that in with butter. And then we'll give that a good mix together on probably a medium speed, just to bring it all together. And while we're doing that, we'll measure out our flour. So we want 250 grams of plain flour. Again, I'm using a gluten-free one, but you can just use regular flour if you're not gluten-free. So 250 grams of this. Try not to spill it everywhere. There we go. You can see that starting to come together quite nicely. So I think it's about time for this flour. I'm going to add this in 2 batches, so we'll do about half first. Let it mix through and then we'll add the second half. What I really like about this recipe is that you can do a lot with it. I'm going to make cherry and orange today. However, you can use just regular chocolate chips. You could put in some white chocolate, you could put in some nuts or some dried fruit or some orange peel. So, and it does seem like a very, very Christmassy thing, I feel. So you can do a lot with it, just depending on your tastes and maybe what you've got available. Just pop in the rest of this flour and give it a good mix. And then we're going to do some little Christmas shapes because why not? We're trying to make these festive, so mix it all together until it all comes together. So because I'm mixing the cherry and the orange, I'm going to do about 20 grams of each. That's starting to come together. So basically you want to whisk that until it starts to kind of form a bit of a lump. So we've got our orange chocolate and our cherry chocolate. So I've got my bits of chocolate here. If you're using chocolate chips, again, just use about 40 grams worth. Because I'm using the chocolate bars, I'm just going to chop it up into kind of little chunks. I prefer chocolate chunks to chocolate chips because I quite like the kind of the irregularity of it. Sometimes you get a really big chunk of chocolate, which is really nice. I think that'll do. And then we'll just check how this is doing. That looks pretty good. So this is what you want. This is what you want from the mix. It's staying together when you hold it. So let's pop in our chocolate chips. Make sure you don't miss any. We want as much chocolate in here as we can get. Okay, and then just give it a quick mix just to make sure the chocolate chips are mixed through the rest of the mixture. So that's looking good. So now we want to take this out here. One thing that I find is a great tip when you're dealing with gluten-free baking, because obviously gluten-free baking can be a little bit, I found it can be a little bit powdery, a little bit crumbly, just because there's obviously not that gluten there. So when I'm rolling anything out, I like to either roll it between baking sheets or cling film instead of using flour, because obviously if you're using flour to make sure it doesn't stick to anything, you're incorporating more flour into the mix and making it more crumbly. So I try and use baking powder or cling film when I'm rolling something out. I just find it works a lot better, and you don't end up with a crumbly mess at the end of it all, which I'm sure we all know well. Just make sure it's all going to stay together. Yeah, so it's really to whatever thickness you like, and then depending on what thickness you go for, it's going to depend obviously on how long it's going to go in the oven for. So we're just going to roll this out until it's maybe about a couple of centimeters thick. That's kind of how I like mine. So I have a few different shapes. So we're going to do some Christmas trees, some Santas, a gingerbread man, and some stars. So let's just cut these out just now and hope that they don't stick to the cookie cutter. And then a couple of wee stars. Okay, and then we'll pop all of these on our baking tray. So that's our first tray of biscuits. I'll roll the rest of the dough together and I'll roll that out and make some more, but we'll pop these in the oven now for about 20 minutes at 180 degrees. And then once they're ready, I'll show you them and we can enjoy them with a glass of hot chocolate or something. Okay, so I have just grabbed the shortbread biscuits from the oven. They're looking amazing. They were in for maybe about 18 minutes. So just keep a wee eye on them, but I would say 18 to 20 minutes. That normally does the trick unless you've done them really thick. So this is what they're looking like. Show you in here. They've kept their shape really well, which is good. And they're looking very festive. So we're going to stick them out on the plate and then time to enjoy. Maybe 20 biscuits, something like that, 20 to 24 biscuits. So there we go. Here are our gluten-free, dairy-free and vegan cherry and orange chocolate shortbread biscuits. They look delicious. They smell amazing. I wish you could smell them. I'm going to tuck into these and I will enjoy. If you do try these out, please let me know. Please tag me in social media. I am everywhere at Copper Confetti. Have a lovely Christmas, everyone. Stay safe and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Everyone. I'm Courtney, also known as Allergy Girl Eats over on the internet. I am also the co-founder of Zestful, the online magazine that celebrates life with food allergies. Today, I'm going to be making mulled orange juice. This recipe uses orange juice, and I think mulled orange juice isn't something you normally hear about, but I tried it the other day and I thought it was amazing. And it's just a take on your normal mulled apple cider, mulled wine, and there's a secret little ingredient that I have here, so you'll see why it works really well with orange juice, but it also works really well with apple juice. The great thing about this recipe is that it makes your house smell amazing and it brings that festive feeling to your kitchen immediately. So let's get started. You don't need much. You just need orange juice, a couple of delicious things to add into it. So I'll show you what those are on the way. Let's start by adding about half a liter of your juice. This is for 2 people. So you add about half a liter of juice to your pot. There we go. And to it, you're going to add freshly grated ginger and freshly grated turmeric. Oh, let me turn that off. Turmeric is the secret ingredient I was talking about earlier. And I had that because turmeric and orange juice, I think, are a natural combination and they go together really well. And I had it at like a spa type cafe. And then I only had apple juice at home, but I wanted to recreate the flavors. And I tried it with apple juice. And amazingly, it tasted super good. So turmeric does go well with apple juice. Don't be afraid of that. I keep the skin on because I don't want yellow fingers. What I do is I just wash everything really well, and then I'll grate it right in because you're gonna strain it out, so it's okay if there's a little bit of skin. So I don't know, I have like maybe a thumb's length of turmeric, and I'm gonna use about a third of it. So, oops, I went swimming. I just grate it right in there. You see it's not so hard, you just grate it. It doesn't have to be pretty. And you can see how orange yellow it is, and that normally turns your fingers the same color. So that's why I like to keep the skin on. The next, I'm gonna do the same amount of ginger. So I'm gonna grate that in there. Pop it in there. Again, I do the same thing. I keep the skin on of the ginger, I just wash it, and then I grate it directly in there. And since we're straining it, no one's gonna be bothered by it. Almost there. I use this type of microplane, which is really, really helpful. It gets I'm just gonna show you, a really fine grate. And then the flavor can infuse a little bit faster into it. And that's my microplane. To that, I'm gonna add 2 to 3 cloves. It depends on how clovey you want it. Also, sometimes if you've been using the same cloves for the last couple of years, because I know you buy like a massive bag of cloves and you don't use them all. So if you have some like older cloves, they might lose flavor, so you might want to add 1 or 2 more. But these are pretty strong, so I think I'm just gonna add 2. And a piece of ginger. And that all goes in there, and basically you want to bring your juice to a boil and let it simmer. So bring it to a boil, bring it down, let it simmer for about 10 minutes, and we'll be back in 10 minutes and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, we have been simmering for 10 minutes. It smells like the holidays in here. The last step is super easy. You take your strainer, you take your cup, and you fill it with some juice. And that's about it. So I'll show you. Pop that here. Just be careful because you have the big piece of cinnamon and you don't want it to kaplunk. Because of the turmeric, it might stain your shirt a little bit. One thing I didn't add here, but you might want to add, which is really nice and which they had in the orange juice that I tried the other day on the street, is they added pepper. And I think pepper and turmeric you kind of have to have together. So I might just crack a pepper grind in this juice because apparently pepper activates turmeric, but I'm not an expert, so don't quote me. Anyhow, there it is. Cheers, everyone. Happy holidays and have a healthy and safe and wonderful 2021.
Hello, just wanted to share some thoughts with you about staying safe at Christmas. It can be a really challenging time of year because there's so much going on, and parties and different food and buying more food and different foods that you wouldn't normally buy before. So it's really important to always stay alert and be aware of everything that's going on. I think this Christmas is going to be a bit different because we might not be able to mix as much as we would normally, but I have a few tips about things that I do to stay safe at Christmas. So the first thing I would say is to get as involved as you can. I'm not the best at cooking, but I make sure that I offer to help people, and where I can, take something along. So I quite enjoy cooking. So if you're going to a party, take food along with you that you know is going to be safe. And if you've got friends that are good at catering for you, make sure you sit down with them and go through all the recipes that they're doing and all the ingredients that they're going to use. Check all the labels on packaging, even with things that you think are okay. And that is one thing I would say, is even products that you always buy that you know are safe, keep checking them, always check them. Like even check them if you've ate them last week, still check. So help people, get involved. Sometimes you might not want to do that. You might just want to rock up and enjoy the moment, but you have to kind of embrace it and just be like, well, I'm going to be the nice friend that goes along early and helps to make the meals and bring stuff along with you. And the other thing I would say is for like Christmas dinner is you can do a lot of preparation beforehand. And my other tip is to just make your own, make stuff from scratch as well and just make it fun. So I make my own gravy. And you can do that really easily by just taking stock from the meat and some water from the vegetables and some corn flour and chucking some herbs and spices, and then you've made your own gravy and you know it's safe. So just to take control, stay calm, check everything again. And if you're going out for meals, obviously prepare, book early, stay safe, and have a lovely Christmas. And there's lots of tips in here as well. My book, The Reluctant Allergy Expert, How to Kill the Fear That Anaphylaxis Could Kill You, has a section in here about how to cope with the day-to-day, staying safe at home and when dining out with friends. So if you're looking for Christmas present ideas, this is a great stocking filler. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're halfway through the Allergy and Free From Chat Christmas special. We've still got loads more to come, so stay tuned. But I just wanted to have a little intermission to let you guys know that the Allergy and Free From Club is live. So go to allergyshow.co.uk, check out the Allergy and Free From Club, and make sure you're signed up because the first article is up by Talina Houghton, and our first exclusive offer for club members, which comes from Free From Italy. So check that out. Make sure you're in the club. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hi guys, it's Morgan from How to Celiac here, and today I'm taking you through perhaps the most important aspect of Christmas Day. I'm not talking about the Christmas pudding, I'm not talking about the presents or the ham, I'm talking about roast potatoes. So today I'm going to take you through my favourite way to make roast potatoes, as well as two other ways that I really enjoy. All you're going to need is some potatoes, oil and salt. And you can also have some garlic and rosemary if you like it, but that's just optional, so let's crack into it. I'm going to start off by boiling a large pot of water and skinning the potatoes? Peeling. So we're going to start off by peeling the potatoes. While I'm waiting for that water to boil, I'm going to chop up some rosemary and some garlic to infuse in an oil to cook these potatoes in. So my potatoes are boiling now. I want them to be fork tender but not mashable, so they still need to have a bit of structure for the next part of the process. While that's happening, I'm now going to make the infused oil. So you need about a cup and a half of plain oil. I'm using vegetable oil today, and your rosemary and garlic. You can use actually thyme. You can use other herbs for this as well, whatever you actually like. And over a low heat, I'm going to combine all of them and let that sizzle away, but not burn. We don't want that to burn. Just to make the thyme and the garlic crisp up a little bit. I've just turned that element off for my oil, and I'm just letting that cool down briefly, just a little bit, because it's hot oil and I need to pour it into this heat-proof bowl. We're going to strain out the garlic and rosemary, but we're not going to throw it away. Make sure you're using a metal sieve, because last year when I used a plastic one, the heat from the oil sealed it shut. I know, like, it should have been common sense to use a metal one, but you know, we live and we learn. So now to my tossed potatoes that are all fluffy and nice and kind of sticky. I'm going to add about half a cup of this oil and shake it around again to make sure that they're all fully coated. I don't know why I'm using this tablespoon. This is most ridiculous. Now these are ready to go in the oven. I've got my oven preheated to 220 degrees Celsius bake. And so I'm just going to spoon these very gently onto a baking tray. I find that they crisp up better when you put them straight on the tray. So you can pour the rest of that oil over and they are good to go in the oven. I forgot to say one thing. If you're making a lot of potatoes, you want to make sure that they've got space in between them. So you might need to do this on 2 trays, or you know, however many you're making. Oops, they won't crisp in the spaces where they're touching. Woo! So they're going to go in for initial 20 minutes, and then we're going to rotate them. Another 20 minutes, rotate them, and see where they're at. But in the meantime, let me show you how you can make 2 other types of roast potatoes that are equally as delicious. For roast potatoes number 2, I'm going to be using baby potatoes, and we're making beautiful crushed roast potatoes. So just to a pot of boiling water, we're going to add these straight in. You don't have to peel. We want the skins on because they'll make them nice and crispy. So our crushed potatoes are done. You want them to be soft enough to pretty much mash, actually, to be honest. So they do need a little bit longer than the first set of potatoes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain these, let them sit for a bit, and then we'll crush them. For my last type of roast potato, I'm going to be making a Hasselback potato, which aren't actually a hassle to make. Sorry. You don't even need to boil them. All you do is cut slits down the middle, making sure not to cut through the entire potato because you want to have them all holding together. Then you salt and brush with the type of oil or fat if you're using butter. And then you want to sit this on the bottom third of the oven for 30 minutes. Take it out, re-salt if you want. A little bit more oil, back in for another 30 minutes, and I'm done. Now it's time to get out our roast potatoes. Ooh. And now, our lovely little garlic and rosemary bits from before, we can sprinkle over for extra crunch and extra flavour. Okay, fine, I'll do a taste test for you. I don't know if you can see, but they're really soft and fluffy on the inside, and there's a really nice layer of crunch on the outside. Let me show you the other 2. There you have it. This is my Christmas roast potatoes 3 ways. Normal roasted, crushed, and Hasselback. I even roasted just a normal potato, just peeled and put straight in the oven, just so you can compare what they look like. Honestly, it's still delicious that way. It would be so hard to mix up a potato. If you want to have a look at this recipe, you can find it on my website, how-2-celiac.com. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to the Allergy Free From Show for having me on again, and to everyone a very Merry Christmas and best wishes for the new year. Guess gotta eat these now.
Hi, I'm Georgia, otherwise known as the GFG. Merry Christmas! Today I'm going to show you in the space of a few minutes how to make my gluten-free and easily dairy-free Christmas tree cupcakes. So the first thing we need to do is make our cupcakes. Gluten-free cupcakes are really simple to make, easy to make dairy-free too. The trick is you just have the same quantities of flour, sugar and butter. So here I've got 180 grams of gluten-free self-raising flour, and then 180 grams of caster sugar. I've got 180 grams of butter, but you could use dairy-free butter. I like the Stork baking block for dairy-free baking. And then I've got 3 eggs. And then key ingredient for gluten-free baking, I've got half a teaspoon of xanthan gum, which really helps with the texture, stops it being crumbly. And a teaspoon of baking powder. And then we're just going to mix this all together. Now, once you've got your nice smooth batter, you can go ahead and split it into 12 cake cases. So they're split into 12 cupcake cases, and then we're going to bake these in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Okay, so now our cupcakes are ready. You can tell they're ready because they're nice and golden brown, and when they come out of the oven, they'll spring back if you poke them. So I've laid them out in a Christmas tree shape here. I had 2 backup ones that you can decorate however you like. So 4 on the bottom row, 3, 2, 1 in your Christmas tree shape. So now we're going to frost them. So I've got some green buttercream icing here. For buttercream, you want your quantities about double the icing sugar to the butter. So I use 200 grams of butter and 400 grams of icing sugar, a bit of milk to loosen the mixture up a bit, and a touch of vanilla essence just for flavour. Okay, so to ice your cupcakes, you're going to hold it just like this, the piping bag. I've got it fitted with a style nozzle. And then you're going to squeeze from the end. And we're just going to put the buttercream back and forth on the cupcake, like so. So once we've got our cupcakes all iced with our green icing, I'm going to add some sprinkles to them. If you're gluten-free, make sure you check that your sprinkles don't contain wheat, because a lot of them do. We've got the placement of our sprinkles all where we want them. I've got some melted dark chocolate here, so gluten and dairy free. And this is what we're going to use to make the string for our Christmas tree lights. So what we're going to do is just go along and up to make the wire for our lights. And then we're going to do the same on each of our cupcakes. And then last but definitely not least, the multicoloured lights for our trees. I'm going to use some little chewy sweets for this. So each of my cupcakes is going to have 3 little lights, just like that. And there you have it, a super easy, gluten-free and easily dairy-free Christmas cupcake tree. So simple, you can make it with the kids, and I hope you enjoy it. Merry Christmas!
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Chupa, the founder and registered dietitian behind Nutritionally Nicole. I counsel people with food allergies and families with food allergies to navigate the world of nutrition so that they can thrive in their life. And so today I'm here because I would like to share with you a tip for living a little bit more mindfully, keeping nutrition in mind this holiday season, this Christmas season. And the tip that I'm going to share is balancing your plate. So to do this, I have a plate with me, and I'm going to grab a marker, and I'm going to actually demonstrate what this means. To start off, we're going to draw some lines in our plate. Don't do this at home. This is just for demonstration purposes. But here we go. So we've got half a plate and then a quarter of a plate and a quarter of a plate. So the half of our plate, we are going to aim for the veggies food group. And so we want to aim for colorful veggies. It's so true to eat the rainbow. Each colorful veggie offers its own different type of vitamin and micronutrients that helps our body to thrive. Things like asparagus, broccoli, carrots, string beans, all of these delicious options. The next category we want to aim for on our plate is having a fourth of our plate as protein. So with protein, we can have plant or animal sources or a combination of the two. And some allergy-friendly top 8 sources include things like chicken, turkey, beans, chickpeas, lentils, beef, and a bunch of other ones. So we can always find a protein option that works for us. And the last section of our plate that I have drawn out here that is yet to be filled in is a space for carbohydrates. When I say carbohydrates, what I mean is things like grains and starchy foods. So potatoes is a nice allergy-friendly source. Sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, we have different type of grain pastas, rices, we have grains like quinoa. There's so many different kinds of allergy-friendly grains that we can add to our plate. When we talk about this plate as a whole, adding all of these combinations together ensure that we have a nutritious, balanced, delicious plate for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And it's so important that when we approach the holidays to try and keep this imagery in mind. And this is just a really nice way to visualize that. I hope that this tip has helped you to think of nutrition in a more simple light this holiday season, because nutrition does not have to be complicated. With just some simple switches and simple tips you can implement into your life, you will see such a large impact and such a great difference. If you have any questions for me about nutrition, about food allergies, about things that are individual to you that you would like some guidance and support on, feel free to book a discovery call with me. It's free 15 minutes and it's where we can talk all about that and we can set up a plan to get you meeting your healthiest self. And so you can find me on nutritionallynicole.com and Nutritionally Nicole across social media. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful, heartwarming, healthy holiday season filled with good vibes and good energy and good company. All right, guys, I will see you soon. Bye.
So I'm making a nut-free marzipan, which can be used as an alternative for conventional marzipan in Christmas bakes. So in stollens, around a Christmas cake, or even just for those cute little decorations on top of things. It's super simple to make, and you can flavour it however you like. I'm going to put vanilla and brandy in mine, because that's all classic Christmas. So we just need 100 grams of fine semolina, 100 grams of icing sugar, that was just my dog having a grumble, ignore, 75 grams of softened room temperature butter. Just going to add all of those straight to the bowl. Really is as simple as that. Popping the butter in, and then a teaspoon of vanilla, which just adds a little bit more flavour there. Just measuring that one in. And a teaspoon of brandy. Obviously add this to taste, or if you're making it for children's Christmas bakes, then just omit the brandy. You can leave in the vanilla, or you could always add in a bit of orange zest or anything else of seasonal flavours, anything you've got going. And the only other thing I'm going to add to this, that was another dog, again, this is my house. Just going to add in a little pinch of salt to bring out the flavour. I'm just going to mix that all together. So just mix it till it's totally combined. It does take quite a bit of mixing, but I promise it will come together. Don't be tempted to add more moisture. So we've got a nice ball of traditional looking marzipan, even though it's anything but traditional. You can store this in the fridge for quite a long time. It will last for a good couple of weeks before you use it. It will roll out nicely to cover a cake, or you can make cute little decorations. It's very moldable. I like to bake it in a stollen, so roll a long sausage and put the dough around it. My other favourite is to make a chocolate orange version. So adding in a teaspoon of cocoa powder and a quarter of a teaspoon of orange extract. That one's delicious. Probably won't work with your Christmas cake, but is absolutely yummy. I suppose people do eat marzipan fruits, so you can have them as are, and I could definitely just sit and eat little bits of this. So I hope you all have an awesome Christmas, and looking forward to seeing all the Christmas baking everybody does, especially all the really creative stuff that we as the allergy community produce. So happy Christmas, guys.
So that's it for the Allergy and Free From Chat Christmas special. Thank you so much to everyone that contributed. And indeed, that is the end of series 2 of the Allergy and Free From Chat. We'll be back for series 3 in 2021. And also, don't forget our live shows in London in July and Birmingham in November. You can get your tickets now. But until then, Merry Christmas, everyone.